Bom dia, bom dia.
Good
Good morning. I'm here with my friend Richard.
Hello.
And Rafael. Today is a very special day. Richard is a very special friend that I have from many years. And he often comes to Houston. He don't live here. And it's very special when he comes spend a day or two here with us. And we train Jiu-Jitsu and we talk about life. And today I would like to share the experience of the friendship that me and Richard and Rafael too gonna be part of it, like different ways to make friends. And I think Richard is very special in that area to making friends, and I invite him to come and share this podcast with us today so he can share his experience around the world. We're gonna get to know a little bit more about him, and you're gonna see such different prospects and views of life. Nice to have you, man.
It's my honor. I have to say, it's my honor to be here. I didn't expect to be jumping straight into a podcast. my first one.
Yes. So Richard, you from the UK, from London?
From the UK.
Yes.
I'm flying around the world.
And it's funny because I lived in the UK for so long and we never met there. I lived in the UK for nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
Same city?
And life didn't got us together there. And then Richard is a pilot. He's a captain of a Boeing, right?
Yeah, well, I'm a senior first officer of a big jet. Yeah.
Right. And that's how I met him. He came to Houston one day. And I was about to close the gym and I saw Richard hanging out in front of the gym, and he asked what I was doing there. And I told him, no, I was teaching Jiu-Jitsu. I just finished the class, and he was coming from a yoga class. And then he asked me about, hey, what's this Jiu-Jitsu is about? And then we walk in and I share a little bit the idea of what Jiu-Jitsu was. And he really liked it because he's a person that likes new experience and like to know new things in life. And that's how we first connected, right, Richard? That's in that day.
Yeah, so I just went to a Bikram yoga class, and I was on this searching for something, and I guess it started with nutrition and exercise, and it led me to this path of Bikram yoga. And I was interested in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because always having practiced some kind of martial art, never getting fully into one, but always wanting to try many. And the school that I first started at was called the School of Martial Arts, a martial arts school before mixed martial arts, but that was exactly what was happening, a mixing. And I always wanted to grapple. It just was this unknown world and a bit frightening. And
it's always scary, right? When you talk about martial arts.
And looking at Royce Gracie and seeing him in the early UFCs. And then I saw this place, and I'm on my bike in my old clothes, and a plastic bag with my wet things.
Yeah,
and to be honest, I have to let you into a little secret. I was a little bit scared of looking at you, this Brazilian guy.
Right. Welcome, come in here.
Come in. And these other guys who've got tattoos on their necks, and shaven heads. And
oh man!
And I think, do I want to go into this place?
The alarms went off like.
That's better. You find that they're the most sweet and kind people. Also killers, absolute killers on the mat, and then you take them
both. They're both.
Yeah, you take them off the mat.
Become kittens
and
again.
they become kittens again. Yeah, they do.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, which is amazing. So that was my first introduction, and BJJ changed my life for the better. And I think it was Rickson Gracie who said, I don't do jiu-jitsu to be better at jiu-jitsu. I practice jiu-jitsu to be better at life.
Yes.
And that's what it's done for me. Allowed me to be comfortable in the uncomfortable position. So when you get into an uncomfortable position
you
can't breathe, it's painful, it's not nice, but panicking is not going to help you. You have to be patient and breathe and wait, and then
absolutely.
when the time is right, you explode. And the same thing in life.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I think that's one of the main benefits you get out of Jiu-Jitsu. And I was so happy to share that with you. And we end up making many classes before. You came many times. We train many times together. It's always been really fun to share that with you. And knowing that you apply that in life and take benefit out of it, even with a little contact that you have in the beginning. You're a busy man. You don't have time to stay in one place and commit with one gym, you know, but I know that you visit many gyms in Brazil and all over the world where you travel. You always like try to
I'm always
go
a
to
new
the
guy.
community. Yes.
I'm always a new guy, and it is uncomfortable to go in always as a new guy, and you're always. It's good to be
new
humble.
tribe
To
in
be
every
humble,
place.
to be humble, and it's a pleasure to meet you too.
No, thank you, man.
And it's good to go to new places,
Yeah.
and I can understand if anybody's watching this, if they're too frightened to go to these places, don't be afraid. And if you are, then good, but it's you act anyway. And you know, I think it was General Patton who said, you know, I've never met a man without fear. You know, a bravery doesn't come, you know, without fear. It's despite fear. You know, you go forwards anyway, and once it's, you know, it's not that bad. You go into these gyms and you say to the people, look, I'm here, I'm learning, could you help me please, you know? And then when they see it's not a competition, you make the right atmosphere for yourself within any place. And I went to these gyms in Brazil where the mats are not the cleanest, and the guys are very tough. And you say, listen, even when they can't speak the language, say, you know, I'm, you know, the right way. You know, please help me. I'm new, and they do. They love it. They love it. These people are going to welcome you in with open arms, and they're going to look after you. And
and I remember like I sharing advice with you because I knew you were going to train other place, and you asked me like, hey, I'm going to train this place here. What do you think? I said, man, just the same formula. Go in, and you're going to be fine because you are a very open person to learn, and you know, you're gonna be fine. Just don't try to kill anybody there. Just
that was the thing in the beginning, and even now, I still find myself with I have this nature to fight. You know, within me, the warrior is there, and it's to be the warrior in the right way. Right. So you don't get.
Jiu-Jitsu teaches you that, like
course.
you have.
Because in striking,
you humble yourself.
In striking, you can use that. You can
power counts, right? Striking power and speed counts. In Jiu-Jitsu is not the same.
And that aggression, and you can move away and rest. But in Jiu-Jitsu, you can't rest in the same way, and you can't burn up your energy like that. So it teaches you to be more controlled, and that's a good thing. And you know, that's again another lesson, and it teaches you humility. To, you know, you're facing a loss, you're facing losing to somebody.
I think we had the same start, like the same thing you felt when you started Jiu-Jitsu. I think I had that too. You know, I had this anxiety of go and show that I can do it, and Jiu-Jitsu don't allow you to do it. You know, you have to go in the end of the line and go like. Get yourself slowly in. You know, like you cannot go to a gym and see people sparring and like, oh, I can do that. Look, when you watch it, it's like, it's doable. I can do it. You know, I know how to fight a little bit. I can go there and do it. But if you go in the wrong way, what's happened? You get tired. You get hurt. And then
there's one thing
you don't go and you don't understand. It makes like, man, how that little guy just control me like this, and then let's go again. And if, you know, in the beginning you resist, like you bounce on it, and then after you start to soften, and then you merge and you mold with the thing. Yourself. Right. So I'm so happy that I shared this topic with you, you know, Jiu-Jitsu, and you absorb that. And what I want to share is in exchange of that was not planned, was not in a paper, was not a contract or anything, but the same way that I delivered this new thing for you that helped you to become a better Richard, a better you.
Absolutely.
You know, you met me in a place that was very tight in life because I had that injury in my back, right?
Yes.
And Richard pretty much like he put me in a new perspective in life too, when he come to me and say like, you have back pain, you should try foundation training. You know, he was the first time that I heard about it. And I didn't listen to him, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry.
How long was it?
Like, I'm sorry again.
It was for a couple of months?
Man, a couple of months. I think it was more than months. It was like a long time. He come to Houston.
It's a process.
How's your back, Jax? You know, did you do foundation training? I look at it. But I never did. And then one day he sent me a mail like, hey, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? You're going to really take care, have 10 minutes and look at this like with a better eyes. And I did it, and I bought the DVD, and 10 days after that I was out of pain, and I like, who is this magician from the UK? Who's this guy?
So I knew it'd work.
Wow, I
knew it'd work, and I was waiting for the reply, for you to be saying what you're saying. Oh, this is great. So I knew I wasn't receiving that back, but at the same time, when you're in pain and when you're suffering, then your capacity to observe the world becomes smaller and smaller,
Mhm.
and it's very difficult to hand people information, or you send them a link,
Right.
and you
Especially today, right? There's
Yeah.
so much things out
so
there.
there's so much
So
information.
many
So
things
you're
to try.
trying to give people your knowledge, and you can't give it.
Yeah.
And what is the best way? Well, the ancient people used to tell stories, because a
Mhm.
story is easy, because it doesn't seem about you,
It's relatable.
but it is about you.
Mhm.
These ancient stories, and I'm still finding the way to help people when they're not in a good place, because
Mhm.
I'm lucky that I've travelled, that I have many tools that I use for myself that I want to give to other people.
Right.
But it's difficult to do that.
Yes, I have that problem too. It's not a problem. It's just like people takes time, like especially in something related to your health and some things that
Yes.
are going to improve your life. Takes a long time to do it, and you cannot it's not a pill.
Yeah.
It's not something easy that
it's
you
not
can
a
get.
pill, right? That's
No, and there's one thing, and sorry to cut you off, there's two things that have, like, there's one thing that I'm trying to do, because I do the part of the marketing, the communication on the gym, and there's two things that I've been noticing. When you go in a new student and tell them what to do, they will resist.
Absolutely.
If you do it and show them every day
Yeah.
of the training, they will follow you all the way, because you're doing it by yourself.
Mhm.
You're doing the action. And then the second one that I have learned pretty recently is you're asking the question. And everybody says, like, have you tried everything? And they say, yeah, I've tried everything.
yeah, but
You haven't tried
No.
everything. So
Yes.
try this one more.
Yeah.
Try this.
Foundation training is
Try
such a
everything.
tool.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
nice
such a
way.
tool that works, and
Mhm.
it's hard to make people understand, because
Yeah.
everybody think that's just something that else. People
I haven't tried
relate
everything.
it with yoga, relate it with therapies,
Mhm.
and it's not. It's a lifestyle thing that's gonna change the way you move and sit and
Yeah.
reach and everything that's gonna improve your movement. Your body gonna get
It's
out
awesome,
of
man.
pain.
Foundation training is
But of
amazing.
course, when I listened that from maybe if Richard was a spine doctor, right?
Mhm.
That kind of label
yeah.
would give like more
Yeah,
trust.
type
in that
of
moment.
authority, yeah.
Like if you're not a pilot, but you're like, how a pilot know how? Probably people think that of me now, right? And I try to share foundation training. What does jiu-jitsu guy know about foundation training?
But I have
right?
to have a confession now, because I'm sat here with a bad back, because
Right.
I haven't been practicing. I've been involved in a very intense program, doing other things,
Mhm.
taking all my days, and I haven't been looking after.
Not able to focus.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what happens, and you get drawn away.
Trade-offs, yeah.
And then it's like, right, where do I go back? Where do I go back to my daily rituals? And Raphael was talking about his daily ritual now
Yeah.
is quite intensive in the
And it's
morning of
10 minutes, man. It's
Yeah.
just 10 minutes.
just 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then there's one thing that Tony Robbins says all the time. He's a motivational guy, but a communicator, a leader, an influencer, right?
Tony.
Yeah, and then one of the things that he said, if you don't have 10 minutes for yourself in the morning,
Mhm.
you don't have time for anything else.
Yeah.
Just 10 minutes.
Mhm.
And I always tell Jackson, I've been applying the breathing a little bit, like 3 minutes of breathing, 3 minutes foundation training, and then 3 minutes with a cold shower. Boom, I'm done.
Perfect.
And then I can go, and do whatever in a state of
Mhm.
mind, like it's just positive, and go on like that. If you put it like that simply, you break it down, and then it's possible for you to do it. But when you think about it, when you say like, oh man, I have to do foundation training, you think about 15 minutes, 20
it's a
minutes, you
commitment.
you complicate yourself a little bit. But you say like 3 minutes, let me do
and-
2 minutes. Yeah.
And you may be noticing also that I'm okay with the fact I haven't been doing it. I'm not
Mhm.
going to beat myself
Exactly.
up anymore.
Right,
I'm not
right,
going
right.
to get down on myself. I'm just going to look at it, understand it, and maybe change it if I choose to, and not to be entering into a cycle of despair.
Yeah.
A cycle, a vortex, which is going to draw me down. I could be better. I should be better. No, I'm happy now where I am. I'm lucky.
One thing that you're doing, Rich, is not judging yourself too much.
That's right.
Don't judge yourself too much for it.
Charge, expectations are enemies.
Exactly.
sometimes.
Yeah.
You know that you're busy. You know that you're doing other, focusing on other things
Yeah.
that is helping you in another area. Then you're gonna come back a little in foundation training, same as jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you have the knowledge already. You know how that works. It's just a matter of fact to, and probably
Yeah,
and
do
that
it
matter
again.
of fact comes when the pain comes, right? When you start to feel pain, you're like,
Feel
oh
like,
man, what I'm doing, I have to go back and do it.
Yeah.
So the pain, the end of the day, it's like the same thing when I was hurt. I would never know about foundation training if that event didn't happen with me. So today I'm very thankful that I got injured the way I did. Like,
Yes.
I don't want to talk about
Yeah.
that now, but I can see exactly the path how I got injured and how I got out of it, because in the end of the day brought me a totally new group of friends related to foundation training. We connect in that
Yes.
subjects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, like very strong, you know, like I really appreciate today, like everybody, everywhere I go and I talk about foundation training, I bring you in the conversation because you are the person who introduced me to that new path that turned me in a new person, you know, and I think what I do and Rafael, the business that we run, we do that a lot, you know, like we deliver these products for improve people's life, you know, like foundation training, jiu-jitsu, we be involved with ice therapy and Wim Hoffman, breathing exercises, you know, like the combination of this, we experience that on ourselves. We are our own cobayas, right?
Yeah.
We just experienced, like jiu-jitsu was amazing, foundation training got my jiu-jitsu better and got my body in a better place, and now I'm discovering this new
element,
stress relief, body control, mental, through the Wim Hoffman method. That's really, really interesting, you know.
Incredible.
And you also have another thing that you very affectionate about, that's going to the jungle and spending time with the indigenous there. You went to Brazil a couple of times already, to the jungle, to the Amazon. Can you briefly share that with us, like how that's been? Because I see, like, I met you 6-7 years ago, and I see that you're much more. Today was a beautiful day. You know, when I opened the door and I see, like, there's this shining Richard with a lot of good stories, you know, and you and I, we both been this up and down, you know, like following each other's stories. And I feel like you are in a good path, and I think that a lot of that's related with your new experiences, right?
So we start at the beginning. So I talked to you already about in the beginning I was looking for nutrition, I was looking to martial arts, I was looking to exercise, to meditation, so all these things, because inside, I guess, there was a lot of suffering, and like many people out there, things happen in your childhood, in your life, and maybe you're not too aware of them, but you carry these what could be described as traumas with you. And then this path is looking to, you know, you're trying to look to alleviate some kind of suffering, and within that, it took me on a quest, almost an adventure. So I'm lucky because there's a Rumi, who was a Sufi mystic, a poet. He said the cure for the pain is in the pain. So all this suffering that I went through, don't take that from me. Don't rob me of my suffering, because from there, as you said with your back now, you introduce it to people, and I come here today, and Raphael is foundation training, so I'm just so happy, you know, and I managed to somehow get through to you, and now it's many people are doing the foundation training, and it's reteaching me, because my back needs some foundation training, so I'm healing myself, but and the good vibrations, they go out like ripples in a pond, and they come back. So my quest, my adventure took me into the deep jungle, into the Amazon, and being with people there who are very connected to nature, very connected to the land, very connected to the past, the stories they tell, the fire, but also they have trials they set for themselves, and what are these trials? It's a sacrifice. So you go without maybe food, and you go without maybe water and sleep and things like this, and through sacrifice, through a kind of a suffering, but it's willing, it's given, you then start to appreciate, you know, you start to give thanks, and they give thanks all the time. So before they eat, they give something either to the fire or to the jungle, and it doesn't matter if you believe in what they believe in. So many of it is scientifically provable. So this is a good example. They will take food, and before they eat, they'll go outside of the village, and they'll place food around at certain trees, and say they're giving to nature before they give to themselves. Now then the ants will come, and the ants will take the food and start to take the food away, and the scientists will say, well, it's the ants eating the food, and the people of the forest will say, no, that's the spirits of the forest have sent the ants to take the food away. But when the ants take the food from outside the village, they don't come inside the village and wreck everything, you see. So there's some kind of science, and it doesn't matter. As I say,
it's a natural purpose.
It's a natural purpose.
It's a cycle.
And many of those things are very connected to practicality, to nature, but through experiences with them, and like I say, going without food and water and sleep, and then when you come home, you say, oh, Thank you so much for my bed, to drink water,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know I lose a lot of weight in the jungle. You just do, and then it's I can eat again, nice foods and
So hot and humid.
So I'm back in the
Yeah.
normal place, which might be called the default society, which is probably not that normal, but it's you could argue that their society is normal. But when I come back, I'm now much happier with what I have. I'm not looking for
100%.
more. I'm not looking to get more. I'm looking to give more to others, and I'm looking to connect in the way they connect with each other, and to always to try to be open, to try to smile, to try to give my time and attention to people. That's what
That's nice, man. That's really nice.
There's one thing that I've learned pretty recently. I think last week I was hearing a podcast that a guy said, I think it's Robert Greene in his new book. He said about that we as human beings, we can't be in gratitude every day because it's a weak point of the human brain. Meaning that and whenever we're in gratitude, we're in a weak point, like, oh, thank you to another person, to another being out of our control for giving us this. So we take control of our part and give it to another person. That's like most people are most cautious, and we can be in gratitude because we think it's weak, and at the same time it's not. It's just giving power to another person a little bit, or maybe to something different that we don't understand, but we put us in a place that you can't be mad, you can't be sad, you can't be negative in a gratitude state. Like just saying thank you for everything I have. I can't help by smiling. I can't help it. So whenever you're in that gratitude, giving a piece a little bit, just the action just already puts you in a right state of everything. So
I mean there's the Stoic philosophy, and there's was to keep. I don't do this myself, but I should.
You will.
It's something. It's something I'm considering, and I may do. Is where you write down what you're thankful for, and something different every day. And before you ask for something, before you set your intention as what you trying to get something, saying, actually, where I am is no matter how bad it is, and I have been to some very deep places of suffering in my life, and I understand. I hope if there's anybody out there that we could reach you there. So is all you've got to do is be. Just keep breathing. Just breathe.
Right.
And be. Don't fight it. Accept it. You don't have to fight. And eventually, the natural balance is going to return, which is an upward thing. But if you fight, you may stay. You exhaust yourself, and you just need to hang on and you
give
will
time to heal it.
And don't worry that you're not doing these things. Don't worry that you don't have a journal, that you're not exercising. But if you somehow get that urge, do it now. When you feel it, just do it. Do it straight away. And
enjoy that moment, and don't worry about
it. May not make you feel better straight away. It takes time. 2 weeks later, you might feel better for the walk you did today. And that's
so. It's just like take time. Yeah, I agree with you, and I do that all the time. Better and better. I think the older we get.
We're getting old. Definitely getting older.
And you understand more what's our purpose here. You're getting better at that. Some people probably don't. Some people more struggle to get that balance and level up. And I don't know. I think Jiu-Jitsu helps me a lot to do that. And I told you guys this morning a stressful kind of situation that I had, and then after I stop and I see like what I'm doing, but it's unconscious. Sometimes you just act in a way that you don't want to, but when you see you already did, and there is a way to fix and improve from that moment, and I think I had that example this morning here in the house with my son, a little controversial there, and after I talked with him, and we got step above that situation, and everything was good,
And one of the things I want to connect with the topic that Jackson said about making friends and everything around the world, it starts with your state of mind. And like Richard said, and like what Jackson said about him, a little feedback when he met him, he was in such a great open state and energy that Jackson was already intrigued, like, hey man, come in and everything. Both of you got that same vibe. So that's whenever you want to start like to meeting people, just having that great state of you, like just being super happy and everything. And how can you do that? Just stacking. When we were talking about in the morning, I was sharing a little bit of what I was doing in the morning with Richard. Is just stacking positive things in the morning, so that way you're so much positive, so that way you can meet everybody and then be such in a great state that they just want to talk with you and buy with
And
you.
I did that
talk,
another way this morning too. I
communicate.
actually forgot, but I told you guys that yesterday the lawnmower bust the main water line out of my house.
Wow.
And the water splashed out, was splashing the neighbor's house all over. And that was like 8 a.m. and I had that thing in my hand, like my water, the main line is
First thing in the
broken
morning.
outside, and what are you gonna do now? And then I called a plumber, and it cost a lot of money, and I had to find the water pipe all the way outside to close the water. And it was like, took me like 3 hours, and of course it's not the way you want to start your day. So I called the lawnmower, the guy's responsible for the accident, because his employee is the one that hit the pipe. So he came this morning to talk with me, and through by the phone when I talked to him, I already understood that he said like, no, I'm not responsible for that, right? So when I met him today, I already had in my head, step out of the problem. He just came like, I'm gonna step out of the problem, and he don't want to deal with this, and he's not gonna pay for the cost what it's gonna be plumbing. So that's what I had.
Yeah.
So when I first saw him, I said, hey, my friend, what's going on? Nice to see you. How's it going? And hey, I'm sorry what's happened to our house, and let's go there and check it out. And he looked there, and yeah, but my guy said this, and you said that, and I have the images from the camera. And the guy who hit the pipe is a 58 years old guy. You know, he works in this hot weather every day, and I try to help him as much as I can. I go outside and I help him, and I know it's hard for him to do that job. You know, so immediately when this conversation starts to go back, let's look at the camera, and I don't know, and I say, hey, do you do landscape? You take care of gardens? He say, yeah, I do. Do you fix fences? He say, yeah, I do. My company do everything. I say, so why don't we forget this? And you give him a big discount, and I give you another job in my backyard. Yeah. And he like, yeah, for real? I say, yeah. You know, this $400 something that we're trying to negotiate here, give me a discount, and then we do another job in my backyard. And the guy went there, he did the estimate of the backyard, and that money now gonna go help somehow my backyard. It's not exactly the amount, you know, I'm gonna lose a little bit here and there, but I'm not putting that old guy in a tight spot either. Because if the owner have to pay me, he would charge that old guy that works there. And that's what I was thinking in the moment, like whatever I do here, not gonna reflect on me, not gonna reflect on this guy here, gonna reflect on that old guy that's working the weather, you know, that I already feel
and this
that's
is the magic
too much
of
for
Jackson.
him.
Yeah, the magic of Jackson is that he's always thinking, you're always thinking about other people.
Yeah, but in this
and
case,
you're impacting the world. So, and when you can change. So people think there's nothing I can do in the world. It's a crazy world. You know, everything's going extinct. And but really, if you can start within here and you change something a little bit, and I learned this from Jackson. A little bit, yes. So then you in a situation which could be particularly explosive.
Yes.
You did this. There's going to be blame.
Look at the camera.
The blame game.
You go in there, and I think this is the influence of jiu-jitsu, of Carlos Gracie, Ilian Gracie, all the Gracies are beautiful. I don't have any. I don't have any.
Such a beautiful story. Yes.
Any division in my heart for the love for the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
and
me
the
too.
family
It's one thing.
and all the families within the jiu-jitsu nation. But I think this has helped you, you know, resolving conflict within the gym with your
conflict
with your partner, with somebody that you don't like to train with.
Right.
Somebody's hurting you, and you know, continually he's hurting you physically, and you're trying to bridge this gap to say, you know, how can I get the gentleness from another person? How can I get
in
the
that stressful situation?
Yeah,
I didn't thought about that on the situation yesterday, but naturally, you know, for the experience I have with jiu-jitsu and friends like you that share life, and like Rafael, you know, like it's a different way, you know,
it's
like
compassionate thinking.
There's a different way to do everything, you know, and in the end of the day, it's happened beautifully there. The guy gonna come, gonna do my backyard, and who knows, you know, maybe gonna be my friend in a different way, you know, like the way we met. When I met you, I would never thought who you are.
No.
You know, like you were sitting in the curb with an old bike that I don't know where you got that bike from, with a plastic bag with sweat clothes inside, and wearing shorts and a shirt, and that's it. You know, and we start to talk. You know, I could just like, who's this guy here? Hey, can you move away from the gym, man? Can you move out? You know, like in front of my business here, you know? Yeah. Can you go more on the side, or just pass by and say, hey, hi, how's it going? Go in my car and leave, you know? So everybody have something to offer, you know, good or bad.
Yes, of course, they do.
If good, great. If bad, great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just be careful. Have like,
Yeah.
you know, there's a limit for everything.
Yeah.
But even like a bad experience could bring something good and a new lesson.
Yeah. And also,
for you
so
know.
the jiu-jitsu gives you the confidence in a situation where, say, somebody is
Yeah.
shouting, you know, they are giving, and now with my experience in life, when I have people who are shouting at me, I don't think it's about me, because it could, well, maybe I've triggered the situation, and I may have done something wrong, and I'm more than willing to say sorry, and if I have done something wrong, but also I'm willing to listen and to feel a bit safer in that situation, that if, you know, you can maybe handle some, you're more capable physically. You don't want to go down that road, but obviously sometimes things can
You just
happen.
feel a little bit more secure about yourself, that you can handle the situation,
Yes,
but you can
that's
step
right.
backward.
That's right.
And there's two things that I learned, like not only from your story, but from both of you had like a little bit of like, man, this big Brazilian guy tell me what to go in, and then just at the same time, man, his bike, I don't know what's going on.
That's right. So the
But
uncertainty
yeah,
of the meeting.
but both of you had the love of foundation training first of you, and then after you heard that back, you went right in for that part and helping Jackson with the pain. Same thing as Jackson. Oh, this is a person that maybe can be helped with jiu-jitsu. So the love of it was the thing that connected you in that part, and that's the beauty of it. And you said about the other person maybe screaming at you and everything. Same thing in the book of Robert Greene says, every time that the other person is triggered, it's not about you.
No.
The person got reminded about the trauma
Yeah,
from
yes.
the past.
Yeah.
So you just making the remind, or something happened maybe at home or anything like that, or maybe you did, but it's not your fault. It's just the person got triggered by their past trauma.
Yes.
So it's not about you. The only thing that you have to do is be loving with them and hear them and understand them, and that's gonna pass. But you reminded about something that happened in the past, so that way you have to embrace a little bit and listen to them and understand
so
them.
you're there as a space to listen to them,
Yeah.
and as they're passing these things, and it may be saying insults to you, and you know, some of them may be pretty close to the truth, and that can hurt, but it's to say to them, well, you know, hang on a second, and to see the pain. You know, you're seeing the pain in them, so therefore have some kind of respect and compassion for their suffering.
Exactly.
So as they're shouting, I'm now seeing someone who's in pain, saying, well, this must be important to them. And if I don't, what they're expecting is they're expecting to raise this energy, this whatever that you want to call it, and they're expecting you to raise to meet it, so that they can go climb higher.
Exactly.
Right.
But if you stay where you are, or even go lower, then all of a sudden they become confused.
Yeah, they will have to meet you now.
I've even had a situation where somebody's very angry, and then I'm very calm, and then they're angry, and then they come down, and then they're saying sorry to me. And then they say they want to be friends with me, and I've not actually said anything.
Anything,
It's
yes.
just because you
100%.
I've just been quiet and
you don't reflect that same
don't reflect
energy.
the energy, no fear, no, just compassion.
The law of attraction.
Yeah.
I remember you shared that with me.
many.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not going to the level of being aggressive and everything. You're just getting into a level of like I understand. I know that you're there. And there's one thing I learned from Tony as well, that some people, when they're in that manner, again, when they're screaming and everything like that, they're just crying for help.
They are. That's a good.
And then how to respond to that is in a loving way, loving, funny way, so that way you break their pattern, so that they're like, okay, this is weird. I'm gonna step back down and then see what they have to say.
Yeah. Also, sometimes you do have to remove yourself, and
Exactly.
and sometimes you have to value yourself and take yourself away either from danger or away from people that are going to be consistently in this state. You know?
Yeah, it's not about you; it's about them.
Yeah, and you want to honour yourself, look after yourself, and surround yourself with people who are in a balanced. If they're in a balanced way of being, then it's going to help you to do that.
100%.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
You guys have anything else to share?
No, we can stay here for hours.
If you start to share stories with Richard, you're going to be overwhelmed because he has so much experience. And today is a very, very special day. I like to be around Richard. He always brings good information, good vibes.
Good vibes, man. Good vibes.
And I'm so fortunate that Jiu-Jitsu bring me friends like him.
My honor. It's to meet you, my brother.
It's unbelievable, like how connections like
awesome,
this can make your life better. And there is nothing more valuable than make real friends and have
100%.
people that's gonna extend the hand for you, even with a message or something that you can rely on and learn. And what I learned from Richard during these 7-8 years that I know him, it's huge. We always in contact, and I always ask, like, Where are you today? Hong Kong, here, there. I feel just very lucky to have a friend of this caliber that's travel around the world, make friends like the connection you have all over the world, and it's just great, you know. I really appreciate you having me.
It's absolutely my honor
In my circle, and I call you brother because
yeah,
I think we have this great connection, and mandatory for him to get a job to come to Houston at least 2-3 times a year. He have to come down
soon.
here.
That's all.
And that's it, man. I'm excited to spend the day. We're gonna go for a little run, little workouts, breathing exercise, ice bath, and then after get some food.
Yeah, great. Being a great statement, just like Richard.
If there's anybody out there who feels like this is a different world, and I was in a place where I had many friends,
Mm-hmm.
and then my friends fell away, and on one hand I could count my friends and my brothers, and this was one of them, and now I have a new brother.
Thank you, man.
And just hang on to the good people in your life, and if it's your family, if you don't have family, then if it's just one friend, and maybe you don't have any friends, but you will find them if you just keep on the right path and just
100%.
keep breathing.
Yes.
And just hang in there.
No
Survive those
judgments.
days. Survive those days.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Guys, if you have any comment or any question, just share that with us. Rafael, thank you for setting up the podcast one more time. We are ready to close and go enjoy the day outside.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard, for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.